June 25, 2009. The king of pop was dead. One of the most famous human beings to ever walk the earth, gone. The man who sold hundreds of millions of records. The man who changed music forever. The man whose moonwalk became a global language. Dead at just 50 years old. But what if the official story isn't the entire story? What if behind the headlines, behind the medical reports, behind the courtroom verdicts, there are questions that still refuse to die? Questions that millions of fans around the world continue to ask. Questions that have fueled one of the most controversial mysteries in entertainment history. Was Michael Jackson simply the victim of medical negligence? Or was something far darker at play? Tonight, we're diving deep into the theories, the facts, the allegations, the connections, and the disturbing questions that continue to haunt Michael Jackson's legacy nearly 2 decades after his death. And by the end of this video, you'll have to decide for yourself. Was it an accident? Or was Michael Jackson silenced? The man who ruled the world. Before we can understand the mystery surrounding Michael Jackson's death, we need to understand just how powerful he truly was. Michael wasn't just a singer, he was a cultural force. From his early days with the Jackson 5 to becoming the biggest solo artist on the planet, Michael shattered every record imaginable. Thriller became the best-selling album in history. His concerts attracted tens of thousands. His influence reached every continent. For years, he seemed untouchable. But behind the fame, behind the glittering stage lights, there was another story. A story filled with pressure, financial struggles, legal battles, media attacks, and constant fear. Many people close to Michael claimed that he often felt targeted. Some supporters point to comments attributed to Michael in which he allegedly suggested there were powerful people who wanted to destroy him. One quote frequently repeated in conspiracy circles claims Michael believed, "There may be a group of people. They don't want me here anymore." Whether interpreted literally or emotionally, those words would later take on an eerie significance after his death. The fall of Neverland. By the early 2000s, Michael's life had changed dramatically. The allegations against him had damaged his reputation. His 2005 criminal trial ended with acquittal on all counts. Legally, Michael walked free, but the damage was done. The media scrutiny never stopped. Neverland Ranch, once a symbol of fantasy and childhood wonder, became a symbol of controversy. Financial problems mounted. Reports suggested Michael owed hundreds of millions of dollars. At the same time, he still controlled one of the most valuable assets in music history. His ownership stake in the Sony/ATV music catalog gave him control over publishing rights connected to countless legendary songs, including much of the Beatles' catalog. To conspiracy theorists, this fact is extremely important. They argue that Michael possessed assets worth far more than many people realized. However, no evidence has ever emerged proving his catalog ownership played a role in his death. Still, the theory refuses to disappear. The comeback that never happened in March 2009. Michael shocked the world. Standing before a packed crowd in London, he announced, "This is it, a massive comeback tour. 50 concerts, a return to the stage, millions of tickets sold. Fans were ecstatic. The world was ready for Michael Jackson's return. But behind the scenes, something was wrong. Witnesses later described a man suffering from severe insomnia, exhaustion, stress, physical decline, pressure, enormous pressure. And that pressure would bring one man into Michael's life, a doctor named Conrad Murray. The doctor who failed him. Dr. Conrad Murray was hired as Michael's personal physician. His job seemed simple: keep Michael healthy enough to perform. But according to prosecutors, Murray made a catastrophic decision. Michael desperately wanted sleep, not ordinary sleep. He reportedly relied on powerful medications. Eventually, Murray began administering propofol. Propofol is not a typical sleeping pill. It's a powerful anesthetic normally used in hospitals under strict monitoring. On June 25, 2009, Michael received propofol inside his rented mansion in Los Angeles. Hours later, he stopped breathing. Paramedics rushed to save him. Doctors fought desperately, but it was over. Michael Jackson was pronounced dead. The world froze. Millions cried. News channels interrupted regular programming. Fans gathered outside hospitals. It felt impossible. How could Michael Jackson be gone? Investigators soon focused on Murray. In 2011, he was convicted of involuntary manslaughter. He received a 4-year prison sentence. but many people were shocked by what happened next, because he ultimately served roughly 2 years before being released due to changes in California's sentencing rules and credits. For critics, that punishment felt incredibly small, considering the death of one of the world's most famous entertainers. And that's where the questions began. If Murray was responsible, was he acting alone, or was there more to the story? The question that won't go away. The question echoed everywhere. Fans asked it. Family members asked it. Documentaries asked it. Internet forums exploded with it. Who did it? Who really caused Michael Jackson's death? Officially, the answer is clear. The death was ruled a homicide caused by acute propofol intoxication and other sedatives administered under Murray's care. Legally, the case was solved. But conspiracy theorists argue the story doesn't end there, because in their view, Murray was merely a piece of a much larger puzzle. Previous attempts and fears. Was Michael afraid? Some researchers and conspiracy believers point to claims that Michael feared powerful enemies. Stories emerged after his death, suggesting he worried about being harmed. Various interviews, private conversations, and secondhand accounts have been interpreted as evidence that Michael felt threatened. Supporters often cite alleged warnings he made about powerful people. Others point to periods in his life when he struggled with prescription medications and argue that earlier health crises may have been warning signs. However, many of these claims remain unverified or based on personal testimony rather than documented evidence. Separating fact from rumor is one of the biggest challenges in understanding Michael's story. The Epstein connection. This is where the mystery becomes even more controversial. Years after Michael's death, public interest exploded around financier Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. As documents, photographs, and connections involving powerful individuals became public, internet investigators began searching for links between Epstein and Michael Jackson. Some videos circulating online point to photographs showing Michael and Epstein at public events. Others mention reports that Michael visited locations connected to Epstein. Those claims have fueled countless conspiracy theories. But here's what matters. No public evidence has ever demonstrated that Michael Jackson's death was connected to Epstein. No court finding has established such a connection. No official investigation has concluded that Epstein played any role in Michael's death. The existence of photographs or social encounters does not prove participation in criminal activity or conspiracy. Nevertheless, the overlap between two of the most discussed figures in modern celebrity conspiracy culture has kept speculation alive. And on social media, countless videos continue to present these connections as evidence of something larger. Why he had to be silenced. This is the theory that dominates conspiracy discussions. According to believers, Michael was killed because he was becoming dangerous to powerful interests. But dangerous? How? Several explanations are commonly proposed. Michael controlled extraordinarily valuable publishing rights. Some theorists argue powerful corporate interests wanted those assets. However, there is no verified evidence proving anyone murdered Michael to obtain catalog ownership. Some supporters claim Michael possessed information about influential individuals. Again, no evidence has surfaced proving such claims. Michael frequently spoke about helping children through charities and humanitarian work. Conspiracy narratives sometimes portray him as a threat to child abusers and trafficking networks. While Michael unquestionably supported many children's causes, no verified evidence links his death to efforts against organized elite abuse networks. These theories remain speculation rather than established fact, but because so many questions remain emotionally unresolved for fans, they continue to spread across the internet. Michael's family has never completely stopped asking questions. Joe Jackson publicly suggested he believed there was more to the story than simple medical negligence. Other relatives expressed concerns about the circumstances surrounding Michael's death. Years later, Paris Jackson acknowledged that many people believe her father was set up, though she has also spoken about the importance of focusing on his legacy. Family members have not presented conclusive evidence proving a murder conspiracy, but their skepticism helped keep public interest alive. The official story. Let's separate what we know from what we suspect. The established facts are straightforward. Michael Jackson suffered from severe insomnia. Dr. Conrad Murray administered medications including propofol. Michael stopped breathing. Emergency efforts failed. Investigators determined Murray acted with criminal negligence. Murray was convicted. These facts are supported by medical evidence and court findings. Everything beyond that enters the realm of theory, interpretation, and speculation. And that's important, because seeking truth requires distinguishing between evidence and assumption. why the world refuses to let it go. Most celebrity deaths eventually fade into history. Michael Jackson's death never did. Why? Because Michael wasn't just famous. He was mythological, a once-in-a-century figure. When someone that influential dies unexpectedly, people naturally search for bigger explanations, especially when the official explanation feels unsatisfying. A doctor administers a powerful anesthetic in a private bedroom. A global icon dies. The doctor serves only part of a 4-year sentence. Questions remain. The ingredients for a lasting mystery were already there. The legacy that outlived the man today. Michael Jackson's influence remains everywhere. New generations discover him every year. Artists still study his choreography. Fans still gather at memorials. And conspiracy theories surrounding his death continue attracting millions of views. Whether people believe he was murdered, whether they believe powerful forces targeted him, or whether they accept the official explanation entirely, one fact remains undeniable. The world still hasn't stopped talking about Michael Jackson. And perhaps that says everything. Final reflection. Maybe the greatest mystery isn't how Michael Jackson died. Maybe it's why his story still affects us so deeply. Was he a victim of medical negligence? A man destroyed by fame? A superstar overwhelmed by pressure? Or was there truly something hidden beneath the surface that the public has never fully seen? The evidence gives us some answers, but not all of them. And that uncertainty keeps the debate alive. In a world where power often operates behind closed doors, where money shapes narratives, and where truth can sometimes be difficult to uncover, people will continue asking questions. Who did it? Was justice truly served? And did the world ever learn the whole story? Michael Jackson may be gone, but the mystery surrounding his final days remains very much alive. And perhaps the most haunting part of all is that we may never know where the truth ends and the conspiracy begins.